let's talk about some updates on What the Horror. Hi guys, I hope you're all doing really well. My name is Sarah and welcome to What the Horror, the channel where we talk about horror movies old and new. So, like you will have gathered from the title, thumbnail and intro, today we are going to be talking about some updates and upcoming things on the What the Horror channel. I really made sure to cover what the episode was about there, didn't I? I don't want that to be misleading though. Nothing major is happening to the channel, just some little adjustments, new additions and potentially trying some new things. A lot of the time I have long-term plans for upcoming episodes, ones that take time to plan or research, but the problem with that is that while I know what's coming up, you guys don't know about them or what's coming up. So I thought it would be nice to share some of those ideas with you so that you know what you have to look forward to in the upcoming months. And if that is something that you want going forward, then I can either do an update video or a schedule that I can post on the community page just every so often, just giving you an update on upcoming content. So let me know if that is useful to you or something you would like. I also always like to assess what I'm doing on the channel in terms of episodes, thumbnails, content, and of course you guys. And as my skills improve, I want to put that into the channel and evolve it. But I also like to try new things and give myself a bit of a challenge, see if it'll work out. You know, once I've got the hang of one thing, I want to see what else I can do. So, what is in store in 2024 on What the Horror? I will be trying to get more movie reviews out for you of the new horror releases that we'll be getting this year. I know I already do movie reviews, but I've been a bit hit or miss with consistency. For example, I did more movie reviews in 2022 than I did in 2023. So this year I will try to cover more of the new releases on a regular basis, or, you know, something closer to it. But as well as movie reviews, you guys know that the episodes that I love to do are the research heavy ones, the deep dives into horror, whether that's characters, the story, the themes, or more about how it was made, the behind the scenes part. And don't worry, there will still be plenty of those this year, including one that I promised you all the way back in April of 2023. When Renfield came out, I asked you if you would like me to do a deep dive into Dracula in the style of an evolution of Dracula or Dracula through the ages, and the answer was a resounding yes. So that is one that I am definitely going to do this year, hopefully in the earlier part of it. In fact, I have already started researching for it. And if that goes well and you would like more along those lines, then I'm happy to do a similar episode for other Universal monsters such as Invisible Man, The Mummy, and maybe Frankenstein. I'm also going to start a series of episodes where we compare an Asian horror film with its American remake, including The Ring, Dark Water, A Tale of Two Sisters, One Missed Call, and more. They're just ones I've decided on so far, but there's things like Shutter, Pulse, U-Turn. Maybe The Grudge, ideally The Grudge, maybe not The Grudge. It really depends on if I feel brave enough to watch it, because I'll be honest, just the thought of watching it makes me nervous. I don't want another Ringu instance. I've heard that Ju-On is far scarier than Ringu, so we'll see. One of my favourite episodes that I've made is my comparison of Sadako and Samara from Ringu and The Ring, so I'm excited to deep dive into these films, but in a far broader way, taking a look at things like the differences in the story, differences in the characters, the scare factor, and also things like how the different cultures and contemporary fears of the time, which I guess is covered by saying contemporary fears, played into the different versions. And in order to make these research heavier episodes, I will also be doing some lighter episodes that will allow me to spend time researching, but will also act as some get to know me episodes. I realise that a lot of the content on here is about the films themselves, and you've never really had a chance to get to know me as a horror fan. I do apologise, my stomach has just started rumbling. That's so embarrassing. You've never really had a chance to get to know me as a horror fan, in depth, my tastes and my opinions. Because believe it or not, despite them being the films I mention the most, I do actually have horror taste outside of Saw and Insidious and Scream. But they're ones that I mention repeatedly, so you wouldn't be blamed for thinking that was all I thought as a horror fan. But there is more to me, and I think that I would really, really like for you to be able to get to know my opinions and my, sort of guidelines / morals for films. So, what is okay with me, what is not, what I like, what I don't. So I will be doing episodes along the lines of horror films that I refuse to watch. That is a classic one for people to do. Highly rated films that I don't like, and low rated films that I do like, because I also feel like I just haven't been told off enough in the comments section by people questioning things that I say. So why not just make it a red flag for a bull and do highly rated loved films that I don't like? I also spoke to Sarah at Possessed by Horror, and she is fine with me magpieing her idea of my most rewatched horror films because I loved the idea, so I will be doing my own version of that as well. That, I think, will tell you something about me. They might not necessarily be my favourite horror films, but it tells you something about, what I do for downtime, for comfort, those go-to ones to reach for. I think it's a lovely idea, and I can't wait to do that one. Like I said, these will be a way for you to get to know me a bit better as a horror fan, but also give me time to make the bigger episodes. Give me time to do the research, the watching, the reading, because it can be a lot sometimes. Something I would like to try, but seeing as how I've never done it, I have absolutely no idea how to, is to do live streams. If I do start to do them, then I would probably start off doing something like an update on horror news, in the horror world, horror films and TV, or a what I watched in the previous month, one of those letterboxed catch-ups with, mini reviews for each of the films. And then if they went well and there was kind of a high attendance, so there was interaction in the comments, then I would be open to doing other subjects on the live streams, but just something to start out with. Another thing I have considered trying is episodes of me playing horror video games. Seeing as how I don't know how to stream yet, these would be edited episodes filming me gaming, and then I would edit them afterwards. But I do like to game. It is another hobby, and it would force me to allocate more time to it while also being horror related content, because I just don't tend to make enough time to play video games. So let me know what you think to that idea. Is that something you would be interested in seeing me do? It would only be horror games for the most part, because it has to make sense for the channel. Episodes that will be coming out this year, hopefully again in the earlier part of it, as well as the evolution of Dracula, are some Saw 11 predictions and my tier ranking of all of the Saw traps. Now that I have Saw 10 on physical media, I can rewatch it and probably the entire franchise again like I did last year, and I will finally get that ranking done for you. It'll be a tier list ranking. I think that's a lot easier than actually doing it, first, second, third, fourth, just easier for me as well. I think I'm also going to do a deep dive into the Urban Legend franchise, all three of the trilogy. I watched the second one the other day, and I've already seen the first one, and if you saw my physical media haul episode, if you haven't, I will leave a link here. I said that it was the 88 Films edition that has lots of special features on, and I think that there's definitely an episode in those films, and hopefully that's one that you would like to see. Let me know if it is, but I'm pretty sure I am going to do it on the whole trilogy. But I think that would be a really fun one to research. I also have some collabs and guest spots in the works, which I will of course let you know about when I have more information, so do keep an eye on my community post page. That's where I will let you have any links for guest spots or anything upcoming on my channel. And finally, it feels really weird to talk about this because, I don't know, it's so daft. It's something I've wanted to do for a while, but it's something that I feel like surely nobody is going to do that. But finally, I have set up a Patreon page to be able to give you guys some extra content. There are currently 4 tiers: bronze, silver, gold and platinum. All 4 have a different price range and include increasing numbers of benefits depending on which tier you choose. Like I said, this is something that I'm not saying you have to do. I don't expect anybody to do it, but it is something I've wanted to set up for a while, and I feel like I'm now in a place where I can. This is a great way for me to get extra content to you, including things like horror and non-horror movie reviews. Maybe there's a horror adjacent or non-horror film that you would just like my opinion on. More rankings and commentary tracks, which I'm quite excited about doing, just ones that you can sync up the film with and watch it with my commentary over the top, as well as early access to my episodes that I release weekly here on the channel, and on one tier a chance to request content for me to do. But it also gives you a way to support the channel if you wanted to. That support would always, of course, be so appreciated, but if I'm being honest, would also help when I'm wanting to dedicate time to the bigger episodes, like the ones I mentioned earlier. If this is something you would be interested in joining, then I will leave a link in the description box in each of the episodes. I will also keep you up to date with exciting things that will be dropped on Patreon, but for the most part that info will be on the Patreon community page. Well, that is it for the channel update. It feels so good to be back getting content up for you guys. I took a week off over the holidays just to reset, to recharge. I honestly didn't even watch that much while I was off, which is really odd. Instead, I did loads of reading, which felt great as I've been in a bit of a reading slump recently. I also replayed Uncharted 4: A Thief's End for the 3rd time, I believe now. I have mentioned before, but if you didn't know, then Uncharted is my favourite game franchise of all time, and just sitting for 3 or 4 hours, maybe 5 sometimes at a time, getting lost in the game again was nothing short of pure joy. But I'm so excited to get back to watching films and getting started with the channel for 2024. I've just been so ready. I have already done a physical media update, which I will leave a link to here and in the description box so that you can check it out. I have also already dropped my review of the newly released Night Swim. Well, that's the plan anyway, as I'm filming this before I film that one. That is another thing I would say. This year I do want to get more content out, but that may mean releasing on a day other than the usual Sunday. So make sure you have the notification bell on so you don't miss out on that, because I won't always know which day it will be. But do check my community page, as I usually announce episodes one day beforehand because I know a bit more closer to the time. Let me know what you got up to in the holidays. Did you watch anything good? Did you play any games, read any books? But in the meantime, thank you as always for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Bye.